Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing the movie Ferdinand at the movie theaters. This is a source material that I've heard of. I've heard of the story of Ferdinand the Bull, but I've never read any of the stories or anything like that. Don't really know much about it. Other than, I know the name. I've heard it, a million times before. And it's like really weird. Like, it seems like Hollywood's like bringing back a lot of these old classics, classic children's tales back to the big screen. I'll talk about that more when I get into trailers, but it's like, what the fuck? The trailers for this look fine. I remember just like when I heard about this movie and saw it was released on December 15th, I'm like, wow, that's being released next to Star Wars. Good luck on that. Actually did pretty well for box office for running up right up against the Star Wars, especially since fucking everybody's bitching about Star Wars. I could do a whole other video about the backlash that movie's got and how stupid and idiotic Star Wars fans are, but whatever. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. This movie looked fine. I saw this trailer more than a few times. I'm a big fan of WWE, and they were promoting this a lot, especially during one of their pay-per-views. I forget which one it was, but because John Cena was in it, and I saw this was getting decent reviews, and I was like, well, there really hasn't been many. I was sitting there thinking, I looked at and saw it got nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature. I'm like, well, really, other than Coco, this is the only other one that's like apparently getting good reviews, and only one that other than Coco that's getting nominated for anything. So I was like, well, let's see if this movie's actually worth a nomination. And yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cute. It's nothing you haven't seen done before. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not a story like it's very groundbreaking. It's a very sweet, touching story that's been done a million times before, but it's still very good. It's harmless. It's all it is. It's very harmless. Out of all the kids' movies that are out there this year, there's a lot fucking worse than this. Like Despicable Me 3, Cars 3 was fucking worse than this. This movie actually was enjoyable. I actually wasn't really bored watching this. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It flies by pretty fucking quickly. I've seen a lot of the praise for this movie go to John Cena and his voice acting in this movie, and I do gotta give him props. I mean, really, he hasn't shown much as an actor, but like in stuff like Trainwreck, and hell, I remember him being pretty funny in his little scenes and Sisters. He shows that he has good comedic range. He can be decent, and he plays this very well, and he has charisma, and he brings energy to this character, and I think he does a fine job. Like I said, he might be a guy who might be pretty good for like animated kids movies. He's well loved by kids all around, pretty much. I mean, he's pretty much an idol. I go to wrestling shows all the time, and I've seen him wrestle more than a few times. The guy's well loved by kids everywhere, and it's cool to see him going off and kind of retire. He's kind of retiring from wrestling and kind of doing his own thing, and now he still wrestles, but he's now going more into acting, and I've given props. He's trying to go to the route of The Rock, but he doesn't have near the charisma that The Rock does, but he is pretty, like I said, he's pretty fucking, when you give him a chance in the right role, I guarantee he can be fucking funny, and he's good in this movie. Everybody's okay in this movie. Like, it was kind of funny. I was like, I didn't really know much of the voice cast other than John Cena and Kate McKinnon. Kate McKinnon was she was pretty obnoxious at the beginning. She's this goat that's a soothing goat, or who wants to be a coach for a bullfighter. I don't know. It's just a goofy fucking goat. It just sleeps in a bucket. Yeah, it's the sidekick comic relief that you see in all these kinds of movies. It is voiced by Kate McKinnon. I'm not that big of a fan of hers. I just, like I said, my first exposure to her really was fucking Ghostbusters, and I couldn't stand her one bit in this movie. In that movie, she's all right in this, but like a lot of the weakest scenes was with her and her stupid jokes. The story it's very sweet. Like I said, that's what the thing that carries this movie for me. It's like it's a story that you've seen done a million times before about the main character doesn't want to be who he was born to be. He wants to be something different. He wants to carve his own path. You know, Ferdinand is basically a bull that doesn't want to be a fighting bull, even though he was raised to be a fighting bull. He just wants to sniff flowers. I kind of get a chuckle out of that. I love it, like the relationship between him and the little girl is cute. I'll give this movie props. The one thing I really didn't like about this movie had some balls, I'll say that. There's a part in this movie where they explain that Ferdinand has to fight. And if he doesn't fight, he'll end up like other bulls that don't fight and end up in a chop house. If you don't know what chop house is, that's basically another word for slaughterhouse. He'll become ground beef. I am not making that up. There's a point in this movie where this guy thinks he's about to be carted away to fight a matador. That's the whole point of the whole movie. They're all trying to fight. Him and a few of his buddies are trying to fight to become a fighting bull against the matador, and his buddy gets carted off instead to the chop house. You're like, holy shit! When that realization happened, you're like, oh my god, this movie got fucking dark quickly. And I'm like, holy shit! Like this character doesn't ever pop up again. And you're like, oh my god. For a while, he does end up being okay because there's a scene in the chop house eventually, but it's like, man, I thought this movie was going to go a little dark in places, but it had, like, with that, I'm like, holy shit. I was like, I give this movie credit. You know, it kind of went a little ballsy. The other part that was kind of ballsy was, where it got a little dark, was the scene where they realized that even if they fight the matador, they're going to lose anyways because no bull has ever beaten this matador. He's like a legendary matador. And this is his last fight, and he basically has all the bulls he has defeated crown or horns on his fucking wall, and he so basically he's killed all these bulls, including Ferdinand's dad. So it's like, wow, that's fucking dark. And like, so, you know, Ferdinand has to try to figure out if he wants to fight this matador. He's trying to resist fighting this matador because of when he finds this shit out. And it's like, wow, that's fucking kind of went into dark direction. Like I said, I give this movie credit. Yeah, like I said, it's fine. It's a perfectly fine film. Like I said, Coco is still. It's just give that fucking movie the Oscar for Best Animated Feature. There's no other movie that's been better than that. As far as animated feature award goes to. Yeah, like it's fine. It's perfectly. It's a really good movie. Like, out of all the movies, kids' movies out there that are offensive or terrible or just fucking insulting, this is not one of them. It's adorable. it teaches a kid a good lesson, even though it's a lesson that you've seen a million times before in a kid's movie. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, like I said, I recommend it. As far as trailers go, what the hell did I get in front of this? Okay, start off the trailers on a bad foot. Isle of Dogs. So what I'm about to say is probably gonna get me a lot of shit in the comments, if there's any comments. I usually don't get any notifications if I get any comments. If I ignore you, I apologize. But okay, Isle of Dogs, the new Wes Anderson movie. What I'm about to say is going to be very unpopular because I know every fucking film buff, film critic has a hard-on for Wes Anderson. But I'm not a fan of Wes Anderson. I'm not. I've tried so hard to be a fan of Wes Anderson, but his style of movie just is not for me. And this just looks like every fucking Wes Anderson film I've ever seen in my entire life. I did like Royal Tenenbaums. Here's the thing with Wes Anderson. I've seen most of his movies once, and that's it. I have no desire to watch him ever again. I remember liking Royal Tenenbaums, but after that, I pretty much could care less for any of them. Like, mostly they're movies that I see and then I forget a day later. That's how memorable they are for me. Like, the dry, monotone humor, I just don't get it. There are just certain directors who just, like, I really try. I really have been trying. And this is just the same. It's a stop motion animation like he did with Fantastic Mr. Fox, another movie I saw, but I couldn't even tell you anything that fucking happens in that movie other than Bill Murray and is a badger and George Clooney's the Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's all I fucking remember. But yeah, it's like a China in the future where they dump a bunch of dogs on a garbage island or something. I don't know, and they're all living in making a living on this fucking garbage island or something. I don't know. Don't care. Just don't care. One thing I'll give credit to. Oh man, Wes Anderson, and I will never take away, is I do have appreciation for his filmmaking techniques. Like, I love the fact that he uses a lot of practical effects. That's pretty much all he ever does is use practical effects. He loves to use miniatures. He loves to use stop motion, claymation, anything. I love that. Like, I want to love the guy as much as his filmmaking style is amazing. I'm never going to take that away from him. I just can't get into any of his films. I apologize. So that's my rant about Wes Anderson. I'm sure I'm going to get hate for, but fuck it, I don't care. Paddington 2, this is a full trailer for this. Yeah, I never I remember Paddington Bear. I never saw the first Paddington. I heard it was good, but I didn't see it. This is one where he gets a job, I guess, and to get a pop-up book that's very valuable or something. And Hugh Grant is a thief that steals the pop-up book, and Paddington is sent to jail. What the fuck? Like, a pop-up book? What the hell? This is the plot of the movie, a very valuable pop-up book. Why is it valuable? I don't know. I don't fucking care. Didn't look like anything that really I was interested in it. And really the first one was the same, but I never even saw the first one. I mean, I'll get around to maybe watching the first one. I hear this is getting good reviews, but it doesn't look like anything I really could give a shit about, but whatever. And then I also got a full-length trailer for Peter Rabbit. Like I said, they're just pretty much churning out all these old kids book source materials like Paddington Bear and Peter Rabbit now, and it's like he's a party animal voiced by who was that flight show host? God damn it, I'm forgetting his name. But he that Corden guy. What the fuck is that guy? I can't remember. He basically is like a party animal that has parties and at his house and has all these animals over for parties and stuff like that. And his new neighbor comes in and basically falls in love with their owner, and he basically wants to get rid of all the animals, yada yada yada, and it's a war between the humans and the animals, and yada yada. You see, it's like whatever. It didn't look bad. It looked alright, but it's like, whatever. That's as far as trailers go. I'll be later this week. I'm gonna try to see Jumanji, and also Downsizing. And of course, all the other Netflix original movies I'm going to try to get around to watching. And until then, I'll talk to you guys.